Hello Scouts, it's Mr. Kugler. I wanted to today take an opportunity to do a quick run through on how to make a foil package that you would use when you were cooking all kinds of different things over the fire. Now certainly in our Scout books they show us, especially the Merit Badge book for cooking, some different techniques for making foil pouches. I'm going to show you one that I learned a long time ago when my boys were in Cub Scouts and I was involved as a Cub Scout leader, that has really worked well for a number of different meals, whether it's dinner or a breakfast or some other treats. So we're going to get started. I'm going to move some of this stuff out of the way and we're going to make a nice foil packet that you can use with all kinds of different things to cook on top of the coals in your campfire. So one of the first things for success in doing foil cooking is to get a decent foil. Don't get the cheapest foil you can get because it ends up being too thin and you're either going to have to use more layers than typically you would need to use, or you're going to end up in frustration because it's going to be rupturing and bursting when you're moving it around and your food's going to end up in the coals. So get a good quality foil. I'm going to start by pulling out and making two equal sized pieces of foil. Now this is about 20 inches. I'm going to start by making sure that my two pieces of foil are directly in line with one another on the edge and are relatively close on the ends as well. I'm going to start by taking and folding in half on itself, lining up the edges so that they're square and parallel with one another. And I've just made my first fold. Next, I'm going to take the top two layers of foil and I'm going to fold them back, but I'm not going to fold them all the way back to the crease. I'm actually going to come in about a half an inch to a 3/8 of an inch before this bottom edge, and I'm going to create another bend or fold right up here about 3/8 to a half an inch up from this line. Take and fold that down. And now what I'll do is I'm going to take these top two pieces and I'm going to fold them up, but this time I'm going to make the fold even with the first fold that I made originally when I folded it in half when I first started making this packet. With that completed, I'm going to flip this over and I'm going to repeat using the other two pieces of foil on the other side. I'm going to fold back, making that fold about 3/8 to a half an inch in from the first fold. And then I'm going to fold over again, this time lining up with the original fold at the bottom. What this is going to do is it's going to give us a nice pleat at the bottom, which is going to come in handy when we go to add our food and it expands. This is going to give it some room to expand and not burst with the steam and the food inside. So now we're going to take on their edge where our four pieces of foil are on the edge where it's not yet sealed, and I'm going to bend over the foil and create a bend so that I've sealed and creased the edge. To make sure it holds tight, I'm going to repeat it twice. My fold is about a half an inch to 3/8 of an inch. And I'm going to do that 3 times. I'm going to repeat on the other side. Now, if your edges were off a little bit, this is a great opportunity to cover that up and make sure that you have a nice sealed package to be able to cook your food in. So now what we do is we would open up this packet and our food would go in between the 2 layers on this side of foil and 2 layers on this side, with our creases on the side and our pleat on the bottom that's able to expand. Now, what are some other things that we can do when we're cooking to ensure our success? Well, one of the things that we could do if we're cooking, say, a hamburger foil dinner, which is a very popular one, is to spray a little nonstick oil inside of our packet to ensure that our food does not stick to the foil. So after we've used the oil, we would have our food contents, we'd put them inside, and then we would come and do just like we did on the sides, on the top. And we would crease that over. So one of the other things that you could do before sealing up the packet after spraying with the oil is to put a couple tablespoons of water in there. This is great if you're doing like a hamburger, a ground beef foil dinner. That water that's in there will just help steam and help thoroughly cook your meat. So with my packet all sealed on the top, by folding it over just like I did on the sides, I may want to mark it, because if I'm cooking with my patrol or troop and I have my ingredients set up just the way that I want them, I want to be able to identify. Nail polish is a great material to use to be able to mark. Now, it doesn't matter what color. You could even use clear, although that's a little harder to see when you're labeling. But by simply putting your initials with the nail polish and allowing it a minute or so to dry, I now have identified my foil dinner. Now, when this comes out of the fire, instead of being this pinkish color, this will come out black. And I know you can, and I know a lot of people that will use Sharpies and be able to mark it with a Sharpie as well. That will also work, but I found that the nail polish will work better at trying to find those markings, especially when you have several foil packets on the fire. It'll burn black and it'll be easily seen. A couple other quick tricks for doing your foil cooking. Certainly you want to have gloves. These are the gloves that I use when I do my Dutch oven cooking. These are welder's gloves to be able to handle. And you want to have tongs. And the tongs that I'm using are these wire on the end. Unlike some that I use with my Dutch oven cooking, where these points on the end of the tongs may actually rupture the bag. So I don't want to use that so that I don't rupture the foil and the pouch. There's all kinds of great meals that you can do in breakfasts, and even some desserts that you can do in foil over the fire. They're a great opportunity for cooking, especially when you don't have a lot of water for cleanup, or when time is of the essence and you need to get things prepared quickly and clean up. You don't have a lot of time for cleanup. But certainly research. I've got a couple videos as well on some a foil breakfast and all, and some other foil desserts. But it's a great option when you're cooking with your patrol and have access to a campfire. Get out there, have fun with your patrol and your fellow scouts, enjoy the great outdoors, and consider a foil pouch meal or dessert for your next outing.